Hello everybody, I'm just going to show you a bit of how I do quilting. So I do have a bigger machine I use for quilting. It's a Baby Lock Jazz too, so it just gives you a little bit more throat room. This is an expensive machine and it can be really fiddly to get the tension right on it, but you don't have to do that necessarily. I used to do it just on, let me just move over there. My singer's right, and actually see that little tiny singer? I've actually quilted a whole quilt on that green one back there, and that's my normal workhorse, which is a Singer Quantum. And I upgraded to this last year because I knew I'd be making lots of quilts for the shop and just make my life easier. But during COVID, when my machine broke and I couldn't get another one, I actually did use my cute teeny weeny little Singer and did a whole quilt on there, so you can. Now, a lot of people like to do free motion, stuff like that. That's just not my style. We all have different styles. Everything is okay. I just happen to like simple. I like to show off the print, and I don't like to be putting lines on the print because to me, when I look at a quilt and there's a lot of lines on that print, I'm not going to see that print anymore. Like, I see the design of the quilting, but not exactly of the fabric. And when you use really nice fabrics and really cute fabrics, you know, I like to actually see them. That's what I want to see. So what I do is I just do straight line quilting, stitch in the ditch it's also called. Basically you can run along the side. I like to actually just run along the seam lines. It's not always perfect, but then I'm not perfect either, so I'm okay with that. I do use a walking foot. Always use a walking foot, that way you get even feed on both sides. You can base these in different ways. I like to pin base. I don't mind pin basing. The other thing I do like about it is I know exactly where I am because there's going to be pins, and if there's no pins then I know that I've done it, so it's a quick look. If you have to leave the machine and come back, you know exactly where you are. What I like to do is start in the middle of the quilt and then work my way over to one side, and then rotate it a quarter of the way. Do the same thing, start in the middle, work towards the side, and do that. And that way I find it stays pretty even all the way around. And I think that's probably about it for sort of how I do it. Now you can do it your way, find ways you like it. But when I do start to like stitch in the ditch and do it something like this, I'll give you a quick little thing here. So I always have my needle down, and you go forward a couple stitches, back a couple stitches. That way it locks it in so that, you know, this little tab up here is not going to pull and all your stitches aren't going to come out eventually. And you just work your way down to your pins, take them out, and keep going. This is a nice straight line, so I'm just going to do this whole line all the way to the bottom of the quilt. But can you see this on camera? Yeah, over here. So say if I was going to do this one here, this is a 9 patch. Kind of hard to see underneath all this, but this here is a 9 patch over here. This is a different 9 patch over here. Now if I was going to straight line down here, I'd end up with this nice sashing here, and I don't want to quilt in the sashing except for in the main intersections. So what I would do is stop here, go back a little bit, lift your needle up, just pull down till you start here, put the needle back in, reverse a little bit, and then continue down, and that way you're not going through the sashing, but you can still get a nice straight line and make it pretty quick to do it all. So that ties all your layers together. You don't have to worry about over stitching anything, and if you're more comfortable doing that, it's a perfectly acceptable way of quilting. You don't always have to do super complicated things. Anyway, I hope that helps some of you. Have a great night.